Thank you for welcoming me today. I'm pretty excited to be talking about just one of the projects that we run in the Faculty of Education as part of getting pre-service teachers into the community and learning in the field. I am a lecturer in the Faculty of Education up at Bendigo campus, and just before I start talking about the particular project that I'm going to be discussing, I'll just give you a bit of context about the Bendigo campus. Here we have our exciting image of Australia with a great big star where Bendigo is, roughly, just for anyone who isn't sure of where Bendigo is. We are northwest of Melbourne. We can see here that the yellow highlighted areas are the shires where most of the La Trobe Bendigo students come from, and the star is hovering over Bendigo, the city of Bendigo. In the Faculty of Education, we noticed that where our students come from really shapes their perceptions of who they are personally and professionally, and their community engagement and participation. So in the Faculty of Education, we refer to people undergoing a teacher education course as pre-service teachers, and that is a deliberate choice of term to emphasise that they're not quite students, they're not quite teachers. They're at a point somewhere in the middle where it's our responsibility as teacher educators to help them explore the range of possibilities for them as they journey towards becoming teaching professionals and educators themselves. So they are still working out what kind of teacher, what kind of educator they want to be, and how they are going to use the resources they have, including community resources or other people in their classroom as they're teaching, or in their personal as well as professional spheres of life. So that's just a bit of context. The program that I will be talking about today is a community service learning program that runs in the first year of 3 of the undergraduate education courses at Bendigo. So we have quite a lot of people enrolling in these undergraduate education courses. Most of them come from this broader region, and most of them will return to this broader region when they have left La Trobe University to work, probably to teach. So in the first year of the undergraduate education programs, we run this community service learning project through which our pre-service teachers are expected to undertake a minimum of 20 hours of community involvement or participation of some kind. We call it community service learning because it's more than just volunteering. Many of our pre-service teachers already take part in some sort of volunteering. Most of our pre-service teachers are involved in sport and rec volunteering activities, or in some sort of academic activities such as homework clubs, that kind of thing. We expect and encourage and find that most of our pre-service teachers meet this expectation, that they will push themselves further than they would if they were just doing traditional volunteering work. So we expect that it will be community focused, and keeping in mind that that community focus could be geographical, but it could also be a creative understanding of the term community, which is fantastic. We expect that it will be equal parts service and learning. So we don't just want it to be one-sided. They really get a lot out of it when they're prepared to put a lot in. Now, this community service learning project, I'm not arguing that it's new or unique to La Trobe, but what I am arguing is that simply by encouraging our pre-service teachers to do something, to take some sort of action, they are doing something very political. They're doing something that is potentially very transformative, not only for themselves, but for the other participants or the other users of this service, the people they are learning with and from. And our pre-service teachers come back to uni and they tell us how beneficial it has been for themselves and for others. So we really notice a big shift in their thinking along their journey as pre-service teachers, considering that what they will be doing as teachers will not just take place in the classroom, that there is a world beyond the classroom that really will influence what they are doing. So this community service learning project, we can see that there are three main areas of benefit or justification for this community service learning. And the first is personal. Pre-service teachers tell us that they personally gain a lot and that they think the people they engage with also personally gain a lot through their community service learning. Lighter in the heart is one way of referring to the personal benefits that this community engagement participation can bring for a pre-service teacher. We hear key words of creativity, the personal benefits or lighter in the heart feeling of contributing to someone else or to another group of people. So making a personal contribution, not just in terms of time, but demonstrating caring and empathy, these sorts of things. We can also note the professional or the academic benefits or justifications. And I put professional and academic together because as this is part of their university, they really go hand in hand. What benefits them at uni will also benefit them at school. So they often report that their eyes have been opened to the realities of their students' lives. And that's really, really beneficial for pre-service teachers who might have come from a small town, a small community. They have a very particular idea of what a teacher is in the community, and to be able to challenge, for instance, cultural stereotypes or a deficit model of students in the face of disadvantage or discrimination. So their eyes are opened to what they will be facing as teachers, and they develop skills and abilities to respond to this difference in the classroom. Now, my big argument here, as I've already said, is the political, making a difference, not just gaining something personally or helping themselves to be a better or more responsive teacher, but making a difference and actually doing something that will actively help other people's lives. I argue that it's a very political statement that disadvantaged or discriminated groups deserve to be made visible, and that's what these pre-service teachers do. They are making visible particular issues in the community, and they are saying we can do something to address this. It's not just one person's responsibility or job. As pre-service teachers, they might have the perspective that teachers will be community leaders, because for many of them, that's their personal experience of teachers. So they can start to step into this role and embrace the political power that teachers might have in potentially transforming a community or a group of people's lives. Now, my end point to conclude with a message for other educators, and it again comes back to this idea that taking action is political. It's really important. For educators, I've got three things to say. One is to go broader. Think beyond just the school when you consider who you might be affecting, who you might be helping, what you might be changing. So go broader. You can do more than you already are. Get creative with what you think a community actually is. Because if you open up your concept of community for more than families and parents of your current students, then you can find so many more people or organisations or groups willing to help, who identify the same issue or problem and want to do something to try to address this. And the third is to be public, because I think we'd be pretty hard pressed to find any school or any teacher who doesn't do fantastic things. I think most, if not all, schools already engage in some form of community involvement. We can think of examples of school gardens and sustainability projects, which themselves are very political, and yet schools are getting involved. They're showing that the personal is the political and vice versa. So be public about what you're doing, be proud of it, but try to do more. Try to go broader, get creative, try to involve pre-service teachers who might be an untapped resource in your area or in a particular field that you are trying to focus on. So if I can leave you with a final point, I would like to ask you the question as educators, knowing that everything you do affects other people, not just your students, but the communities you realise you affect or not. If you could make a difference, if you could do something political, something powerful, what difference would that be, and how can you involve others with the same passion as you and try to realise that difference for your students, for yourself, for your schools and for your communities? Thank you.